Hey guys, welcome to the Fear the Walking Dead after show on the stream.tv. I'm Michael Tiberi.
And I'm Sue Castillo, and let's dig into the season finale of Fear the Walking Dead. They finally kicked some shit off, man. We've been waiting all season for this.
We finally have made it. 6 long episodes and we're finally here. And I think one of the most important things we've learned is that it doesn't pay to be nice during the apocalypse. You know what I mean? And we've learned that again and again. Time is not kind to anybody here, and you really have to, if you want something, it's not paying to be nice. And I think a good example of this is with the Corporal Adams situation.
Yeah, so we got, at the beginning, we have Daniel, Madison, and Travis. I mean, in the previous episode, they're arguing about torture and the legitimacy and everything, and then they got the information. And by this episode, we're already... they've already tortured Corporal Adams. They're getting the information out of him, how to get to the headquarters, which floor are they on, and everything. And Daniel is already like, all right, it's time to put down old Yeller. And everybody else is trying to figure out where they stand on that issue. And it seems like Madison and Travis, both kind of agreed, like, that's taking it a little too far, Daniel.
Yeah, let's maybe not do that this time. And then we see that at that moment where there's that struggle with Corporal Adams and he ends up shooting Ophelia. And I think, that was this huge, in more words or less, it's this moment where it's like, well, why wouldn't he have shot Daniel? He shot the person that meant the most to Daniel. So he took his anger out on somebody that he knew would hurt Daniel the most.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a crazy moment for me where I genuinely was not expecting him to shoot Ophelia.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of the audience members were feeling the same way. Like, they were very shocked that Corporal Adams just quickly turned from Daniel and set his sights on Ophelia. But I think who was more surprised was Corporal Adams getting beat the crap out of by Travis. Travis came out the box.
Finally snapped. I think it was we had that whole buildup where it was like, nobody was nice to Travis. Travis was always rooting for everybody. He was trying to help everybody. And finally that moment where Travis, all of the anger and all of the episodes just exploded. And it's that moment where he just is continually just whamming on Corporal Adams. Nuts, right?
Just wailing the shit out of him, And then, speaking of fighting, then we see Chris and Alicia, waiting at the vehicles while everybody else is going and rescuing people. And, the soldiers came up. Man, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really hate when they bring that rapey narrative vibe into the scenario with the soldiers coming in and kind of like, hey,
breaking the windows down.
Yeah, breaking the windows. Give me the car, and hey, little Missy, you want to come with us? Like, no, thank you.
I'm good.
Yeah, and then Chris surprised me when he took on those dudes. Like, I was like, okay, little man.
3 versus 1. That was like a very intense scene. And I kind of laughed for a moment there where Alicia just kind of stood there. I mean, I know that she wasn't supposed to necessarily get involved, but there was that moment where she just was kind of like, okay, I'll let him get beat up and I'll lean back here. I have the keys, by the way. There you go. It's kind of 3 versus 1. It was a very unfair fight there.
Yeah, and then we've got the new BFFs forever, Nick and Strand, and just
Thelma and Louise in it.
Yeah, they kind of were, but like male.
In a zombie apocalyptic way too.
Yeah.
And then we have that moment where they're, Nick steals the key for Strand and they're walking out of the compound there and everybody's begging them for help, help us please, let us out. And they just, Strand's like, no, we're not helping them. We're not telling Nick we're not coming back for them. We're not helping them. And it's kind of this crazy moment where it's just like, oh, this is more of Strand's personality really showing its true colors right now.
Yeah, and I was surprised that, Nick was the one who was like, aren't we going to help these people? And I'm like, wait a minute, is this pool dick Nick that we're talking about? Is this morphine stealing Nick that we all love and hate, remember? Is this old man clothes stealing Nick?
Yeah, you were still wearing the same clothes since the man that you stole them from at the hospital, and now you're like, I should help people. It's like, what? That's never been your nature.
Right, and so I feel like the fact that he was paired up with Strand, and Strand is this no-nonsense, he cuts the bull, he knows what needs to be done, he just doesn't have necessarily all the means in order to do so, but he sees it in Nick, and now Nick is just counterbalancing off of Strand, like it's, the balance between good and evil. It's like Strand is like, nope, they're going to hurt us more than help us. And Nick is now feeling more compassion towards other people, and I think in opposition to Strand being such a cutthroat asshole, I guess, you know? And then Strand gets to see Soldier Face, who took his cuffs and his gold watch. I thought that was such a vindicated moment.
And then we have that same moment, then we have them going to Strand's home. It's kind of that, and it's like you said, it's this very lavish compound. Like, I felt like they should have walked into that house like Missy Elliott, like blaring slow-mo of them walking in. Like, it was almost like, I'm like, is this a rap video now? Like, on the beach, like the cliff, the ocean. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was a nice house. We got to see some of his rides, and he had a really nice house. I'm not gonna lie, when we pulled up, I was a little worried. I was like, Alicia, Chris, you better be on your best behavior. Don't fuck up this man's house like you did those other rich people's house down the street from you. You know, that was my main concern. Like, he just invited y'all in. You better be on.
They were going to take full advantage of that.
Oh, yeah. Like, she's just going to start breaking crystal and shit and wearing dresses and stuff that don't belong to her. That's what I was concerned with. And then we've got Liza and Madison. That whole situation, like Liza, you know, we see Liza's struggle in the episode where she's having to choose if they're going to be evacuated. She's going to choose her son and her ex-husband because her son needs his father. And if that means leaving Madison and her kids and everyone else behind, then Liza is like, all right.
That's fine with me. Yeah, you really, again, see Liza's, I think, her true colors and her predisposition to favor, you know, Chris and her son in this position where she doesn't, you know, we learn that, like, she asks Madison early on, you're going to have to shoot me because Travis can't handle it. And then she turns around and is like, well, I could do without, you know, bringing along Madison.
I mean, why? Why bring your ex-husband, girlfriend, I guess? But, and then, we see Liza kind of having this tender moment with Chris, kind of her goodbye, not goodbye, and then the exchange between Liza and Madison, you know, and I mean, come on, Liza. You know, if you want Madison to shoot you because you got a zombie bite, like, you don't really have to go, come on, man, you know you didn't like me anyway. Like, don't do that.
I thought that was very, I agree. I thought that was unnecessary to say. You did not have to throw her that one last, like, by the way, you don't like me, so this will be easy. It's like, well, that's not fair, all right? Like, now we're playing with fire here. I thought that was a really kind of unfair dig to throw there at the end when I'm already going to ask you to shoot me in the head.
You know what I mean? So passive-aggressive for somebody who's about to turn into a walker. And then, you know, Travis comes onto the situation and realizes what's going on, and then the season finale, we had to bid farewell to a lot of characters. We say goodbye to Griselda. We say goodbye to Liza and Matt and many others. And I think that the entire season, it would have been nice that the culmination of everything, it kind of needed to have the pace that the season finale has. But I think then that sets up season 2 to punch it up a lot more. So.
Yeah, I think it will move a lot faster. You know, I thought this episode had a lot of chaos that I had wanted in previous episodes, but it was, you know, culminating up to this last point, but it was all of the action that I had desired earlier was finally here in this episode.
Yeah. So, so then let's dig right into characters.
Yeah.
So the first character I think we should talk about is definitely like Travis. You know, throughout the entire show, Travis's character has kind of been that moral compass. You know, he was the guy who believed in right and wrong. He's the guy who believes about being the stand-up guy and doing the right thing. You know, he's the guy who believes in man versus nature. And he was a teacher and an educator. And then, you know, you see all these situations that he's being kind of thrown in, and like that corporal getting tortured was like, you know,
And that was a big moment, I think, for Travis, you know, that snapping moment where he is just repeatedly, again, punching Corporal Adams over and over and over again until Madison's like, all right, enough is enough until you kill this guy. You know, and I think that was a big, transition for Travis as a character, as we're like, oh, he does have this inside of him, even though we didn't think, you know, because early on in episodes, I feel like he was very much the compassionate person, and he would be the one that would kind of lay off in these situations, and he just absolutely loses it.
Yeah, and you know what? Corporal Adams deserved to get his ass whooped because, you know, you were how far away from Ophelia, and you just grazed her arm. Like, you a soldier. You are supposed to be a better shot than that.
You're critiquing his shot, like you're saying he should have had a better shot there.
I'm just saying he got his ass whooped for several reasons. One, that was a fucked up thing to do, and then two, like
it was a bad shot.
That was a bad shot. You deserve to get the bricks beat off of you. And then we got Daniel and Ophelia, where you have Ophelia. Daniel and Ophelia are now dealing with the fallout from Ophelia finding out he tortured Corporal Adams. How does she even feel about that? She's realizing who her father really is, because, you know, this whole time she thought he was the victim of all that mass genocide and violence back in El Salvador, and then come to find out, nah, Daddy was doing all that stuff. You know, that, yeah, that's a mind trip.
Yeah, and to me, Ophelia and Daniel feel like these people, they're like the family members that you forgot to invite once to an event, and they're holding it against you forever. Like, I feel, you know, like, because there is that moment where Daniel releases all the zombies, and it's like, we knew, as Sue predicted, that she thought that was going to happen, you know, but he has this moment where it's just like, Daniel, I feel like sometimes has these irrational motives, where, you know, it's like, that was a crazy moment where it's like he's releasing all of these zombies caught up, and he kind of, I feel like, doesn't care about other people around him besides his family.
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable. Like, he loves them more than anything, and then they're finding out that Griselda passed, and, you know, as much as it pains him to have lost his wife, he is still, you know, that parent, that person who wants to protect his daughter, protect Ophelia from the world, and seeing her in pain constantly, you know, the pain of what he did and her realizing it, the pain of, like, her mother now dead, the pain of, like, seeing that mound of ashen bodies, and the world that she's coming up in, and she's slowly becoming more jaded. You know, when they left that compound, that safety zone, you know, they said, oh, we're not warning the other neighbors, and Ophelia kind of, like, had that little throwaway of, well, they wouldn't help us. Like, damn, Ophelia.
Yeah, she's gotten bitter really fast.
Real quick.
Real fast, yeah. It's not, no waiting.
Yeah, and then we have the Liza and Dr. Exner exchange, and I mean, you know, I felt like that was so close to Rick and at the CDC with that doctor.
Absolutely.
Where he gave him the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the doctor ends up staying, and Rick and the others escape. Yeah, I think that's a great analogy there.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was definitely like, you know, like Exter was just there to let them know that it doesn't matter how you die, you always come back. It doesn't matter where you go. No place is safe. Like, it was literally like the whole CDC exposition without the brain scans and like a building blowing up and shit. Like, it was just all out there for everybody to just, please just give up now.
Yeah.
But, and then we've got Liza gets bitten. Like, when did that happen? I know she had the scuffle.
I think it was the scuffle when she was, you know, trying over and repeatedly trying to get through the key through the door there. You know, so those intense moments where the lights were flashing and they couldn't get the doors open. Are they going to get the doors open? Of course they're going to get the doors open. Not all of them are going to die in this final episode. So I think maybe there was that moment where Liza possibly, because we discussed this earlier, it looked like she had been scratched. It did not look that she was fully bit, but Again, yeah, I'm a little confused of when exactly that happened.
Yeah, when did she get bit? Because it wasn't even over the scrubs. It was kind of like underneath it. I don't know. It was just, I thought it was a scratch until she said she was bit, but adios, Liza.
Yeah, and, you know, and that leads us right into Sue's predictions. If you recall last week, I rejected Sue's idea that Liza would die in this finale. I said that, you know, I was like, no, that's not going to happen. I was like, she's a pretty big character. She's going to be there for Chris and for Travis. Like, there's no way she'll be eliminated as a character. Nice try, Sue. Again, you'll be wrong. And again, Sue proved me wrong and was right. Yes. So, yeah.
Well, mildly,
maybe not trust me and my predictions.
Well, mildly right. Because I did say I think Liza's going to be the last death of the season, but then I just kind of threw in there at the end, like, maybe Exner will be the one responsible for the death, but either way, whoever was responsible, I knew it was adios for Liza, but I'll see you on Orange is the New Black. But yeah, so you know, yeah, we had that, and we had and then Salazar.
Yeah.
I predicted that shit too.
That he would release them. Yeah.
How gangster
Yeah.
is Daniel that he's walking up with a flashlight and he was like, "Don't waste your bullets."
Yeah.
Oh.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally that we had that Strand would join the group. And I think that was a mutual prediction, or I'd like to just say it is, because I don't want to be wrong on every single prediction. So, yeah, Strand finally did join the group when they headed off to his MTV crib, and, you know, they were all joined together singing Kumbaya on the hillside mansion. Not really Kumbaya down on the beach.
Yeah.
A little bit different of a story going on down there.
Yeah.
But because this was the final episode, and we do know that Fear the Walking Dead has been renewed, let's make some predictions, I think, for the upcoming new season of it when it comes back. So I think some of the stuff that we had said is that Chris and Alicia will become closer romantically.
Yeah.
Because we know Alicia doesn't obviously do well without a boyfriend. As we've seen, you know, she lost her boyfriend very early on, Matt, very early on in the couple episodes, and she moved on very quickly. So I think that we can safe to say that Alicia and Chris will kind of develop a little bit more romantically.
I think so. I mean, especially, I'm not going to lie. I thought Chris's character was kind of like this whiny little teen, kind of like, you know, just throwing these tantrums and just, he's one of those teens that if the zombie apocalypse didn't go down, he'd just run to his room and like throw up a YouTube video, bitching about his parents, you know?
He had that vibe in the beginning.
He totally had that vibe.
When he was filming in the streets.
In the streets, yeah. He was always going to be, it was going up on YouTube, guys.
He would have been in Occupy Los Angeles if there was one, you know, Occupy Zombie Apocalypse.
Yeah, but then the fact that throughout this episode, then finally he steps it up when these guys were clearly wanting to do harm, and he wasn't having it, even if it was a detriment to his own safety. He was willing to put himself in harm's way to protect Alicia, and I think that speaks volume. And I don't know if y'all noticed this, but when he took that rifle butt to the face, they focused on Alicia, and she was kind of like,
She was like, maybe I should have helped. Maybe not.
Okay. I'll get over Matt.
Yeah. And then we think we have this moment of like, there is going to be some sort of fallout between Madison and Travis over Liza's death. You know, and in Chris, I think there's going to be some sort of, you know, tension there. There's no way there can't be. There's absolutely no way that can't come back to bite everybody.
Bite everybody, but maybe not literally, maybe figuratively. Yeah. But yeah, because the last thing we see is Chris cradling his mom and crying, and she's got, you know, bullet to the brain. Yeah. You know he's going to want to know why. And why didn't anybody tell him? And why didn't
he say goodbye? You know, all of that.
Yeah, and why he didn't have a say, and why this was Madison and Travis. And I think what's going to happen is, I think, you know, Madison is going to take it upon herself, but I don't think Travis is going to let her. Like, I think Madison is willing to take the blame and say, I'm the one who shot Liza, it was me, and Travis is going to go, no, it was me. Either way, Chris is going to hate both of them.
Right, and I think, I agree with you. They're both going to try to interchangeably take the blame there. And then finally, you know, I think that you were saying this about Flight 462.
Oh, yeah, the webisodes. I don't know if you guys have been seeing them. There's only one. And they're really short. But so far, with everything that we know about the webisodes, they're going to keep releasing them, and the characters that, I guess, survived that flight will be joining Fear the Walking Dead. So my prediction was, Strand is trying to make his way to Abigail the boat. And I think my prediction is that plane, Flight 462, is going to crash into the ocean, possibly taking out Abigail or joining the group. The survivors of the flight joins Abigail. But I honestly think the plane's going to take out that boat, and then the rest of the survivors are going to somehow make it to shore, and then they're all like, well, what the hell do we do now, guys?
She could be right. She has not let us down so far. And then my last final prediction is kind of that I think Nick will finally change his clothes. just, side note. I think finally a new season, a new Nick. Hopefully he'll be out of those same hospital clothes from episode 1.
No, I disagree with you.
You disagree?
I disagree.
How long can those hold on? How long can he stay in those same exact clothes? I mean, he has to change, right?
I think I think they were trying to pull the viewership to see just how long he'll stay in them clothes, and maybe,
in them jeans.
You know what I mean? And get confirmed for season 3, and then that's when he changes. I don't know, but they're in Strand's house. Strand's got fancy shit.
I think, Strand has something that he can make work.
No, I think it's too fancy. I think Nick, I think Nick needs to slum it. And so he's gonna wear them dingy shits, yeah.
All right, well, only time will tell. Hopefully everybody will stay with us all the way to that new season, and we can find out how I am right and Sue is wrong. So this week, our fan question from our friends over at the Undead Walking. On Facebook, Clint Fredrickson asked this question. He says, why did Adams shoot Ophelia and not Daniel? Great question. Thank you so much for writing in. Sue and I both talked about this earlier, that we think it was more of the emotional feat that Daniel would suffer from that, rather than, Corporal Adams was shooting the one person that Daniel very much valued, very much loved, and he cut him emotionally, which was almost more than, cutting him physically, for kind of a lack of better words there.
Yeah, it was, Daniel had tortured Corporal Adams, but Daniel wouldn't have been able to torture Corporal Adams had Ophelia not, kind of coaxed him there and led him to her father in order to do that. And I think, Corporal Adams, in a way, and you know what, now that I think about that episode, I think he did shoot her to hurt Daniel because of what Daniel did to him, but also because she had a part in it. But then when I think about it, he really missed. And I mean, he missed.
That's still bothering you.
That still bothers me. He missed hard. Really, he could have hit her anywhere. I don't know about you guys, but I'm prior military, so I've handled firearms. I still have handled firearms on the shooting range and stuff like that. But the way they teach you is center mass. So I find it very hard to believe that Adams is that bad of a shot with a 9mm. I honestly think Corporal Adams not only shot Ophelia to hurt Daniel, but he knew that he was grazing her. I don't think he intended to actually shoot to kill.
Okay.
And also, a little caveat, by the end of the episode, it looked like he got the shit beat out of him really bad.
Right.
But I don't think he was dead.
Oh, no, I don't think he was dead either. I don't think he died. I think he got really badly beaten there by Travis, but by no means I don't think he's dead. No.
So we may be seeing Corporal Adams again.
Yeah, there could be some sort of redemption there. All right, guys, so that sums up our season, I think, of Fear the Walking Dead. Thank you so much for sticking with us from day one. If you were here to watch all these episodes, kind of keep the conversation going. I mean, I know it's a little ways away, but tweet at us using the hashtag FearTWDAS. We want to kind of keep the conversation going. If you have any predictions for the upcoming season, that's going to be fun. So, as Sue, she watched the webisode, I would recommend that highly to kind of see, how is this going to tie in? Because they did say that some characters from that plane would be joining the new cast in the new season. Also, make sure you check out our friends at the undeadwalking.com. They're going to have a ton of stuff over there, I think, that's going to kind of satiate everybody until the new season starts,
Which is soon.
Yeah.
Not this one, but, The Walking Dead.
Right, and then, The Walking Dead will be starting next week, right?
Yes!
Yeah, so that's very exciting. So basically, we're not going to have much, we're not going to have any time that's going to be without zombies,
Yeah, or us.
Yeah, or us, which more importantly, I know that everybody is looking forward to that. So, Sue, do you have anything final to add? I think.
Just that I would love to see the only Asian girl on the webisode join the crew. That'd be great on the main show. I'm a little biased on that maybe, but I don't give a damn. That's what I want to happen.
All right, guys. Hopefully it does. So, thank you so much again. We'll see you hopefully in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah. For more of the Fear the Walking Dead after show, make sure you hit that button.
And subscribe to thestream.tv.